It must have been 87 years since the beginning of the end, that is if anyone had been able to count days apart from nights. All that was left on the face of the world was a bunch of barren wastelands, submerged cities, acid rains, ash clouds and spewing volcanoes. The chieftain dragged his feet in the white sands of Zoramaic dunes, seeking an oasis in the middle of nowhere, hoping that the almighty Sanuki wouldn't betray him by showing another mirage in the name of water, not at least after pitying his barely alive 8-year-old son. He yanked a coir rope tied to a metal piece of the old world, carrying his only remaining hope, his son, Hyle. Ashen clouds in the sky danced wildly, with frequent peak of golden red rays from the sun, the only way anybody could say it was daylight. Dunes shifted with the blowing wind rapidly, changing the landscape by every passing minute. Since a decade now, the moon stayed all through the day, eclipsing the sun every few hours, its shadow so vast that it wrapped half of the world in an evanescent darkness. A strange reflection over the horizon made the chieftain's eyes squint. Just another mirage or so he thought, that was until he felt the earth tremble beneath his feet. Finally the Sanuki had answered the chieftain's prayers. He fell to his knees, bending over and chanting in a low hush. A couple of sandy heaps and dunes away stood a huge pitch-dark sphere, so dark it absorbed every remaining speck of light around it. Mirror-like, yet there escaped no reflection from it. Its surface morphed in waves, geometric patterns appearing and disappearing, sending a rumble of vibration through the sand underneath it. The chieftain wrapped the half-awake little boy who was fastened to the metal scrap with his arms and ran towards the strange sphere, his legs shuffling and shaking with weakness. He laid his son in front of the weird sphere and prayed. All his life he had heard stories of the old world and the legends of the Order of Sanuki. He had seen the murals and paintings of these weird spheres in the codex and the temple back home. But now the chieftain and his son hadn't eaten in weeks and had seen no drop of water for days. His son was half dead, his lips were dry and peeled, eyes sunken, drowned in his own pool of sweat. There was nothing left to believe in other than the miracle of Sanuki himself. Sure, his oracles were true, or else why would they etch it on the codex? Why would they follow his creed? The world need not remain in darkness anymore. After all, there was a savior, even for the sinners like him, at least that was what his father had always told him. The time had come to bestow on his son, his own life as a blessing. The oracle of Sanuki is the truth, may his blessings be upon you, little one. Remember me. The sphere morphed, this time gently. A triangular blue light appeared on its surface. The sphere opened, creating a triangular empty dark doorway. With the last of his remaining strength the chieftain picked up the child, pecked a kiss on his forehead and placed him inside the sphere and stepped back only to fall on his knees into the sand. The sphere blinked, its geometric pattern reappeared for a fraction of a second and then turned translucent. Within a few more seconds, the giant sphere was gone, vanishing into thin air. The chieftain heaved a sigh of relief. As if to add to the solace, the sky flashed, filling Zoramaic dunes with thunder and pouring acid rain through ash clouds. Chieftain's skin stung through the perforated old coat, eyes burned. But that was oddly satisfying for him. He deserved that, didn't he? Sinners had to pay, he had to pay for his deceased tribe. But my boy need not. He thought, let him live, lead him to the light. Through the gray clouds and flashing light storm, he saw the moon starting to veil the sun. That was another eclipse just in the span of a day. Its craters appeared gigantic and deep. It's time. He mumbled, Sanuki's judgment had arrived. He might not live to see it, but his son would. Hyle would wake up to a new dawn of civilization, or at least that's what the chieftain hoped.